is called an Aoki lock. It's a modified heel hook, but
Jiu-jitsu is for autistic people.
what I think a master of jiu-jitsu is somebody that inspires another generation.
Jiu-jitsu, I swear, this is why I like striking. This is
a competition where it's an art and it's an art form, and I learned from the master.
He looks like Mark Zuckerberg. He shouldn't be winning.
So that's like a master to student. He's an idol of mine for being 40.
It's like a master to the student. Actually, this is a leg heel lock.
He's thinking he would make me tap. He probably would.
Sneako is once again making himself look foolish in the realm of martial arts. However, what if I told you that his message may be actually right if you simply ignore the messenger? This started when during Sneako's stream, he decided to react to Mikey Musumeci's post-fight interview. Upon hearing Mikey speak, Sneako started pointing out that jiu-jitsu must be for nerds, and he was insinuating that only specific types of people are into it. He mocked the way Mikey spoke to make him sound like more of a geek. Though Mikey doesn't need any help when it comes to sounding like that.
You know how you get muscles? You eat muscles. I dimmed something silly and ordered way too much food.
No money, no honey. Good boy goes to heaven. Bad boy goes to Bangkok.
Mikey responded with a video where he seems more angry than usual and is challenging Sneako to an MMA fight while calling him a bully.
I really don't like bullies, guys. And there's this guy named Sneako making fun of me, making fun of my friend, making fun of jiu-jitsu. He calls himself a boxer. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. Let's have an MMA fight.
The problem is that, aside from his world-class skills, Mikey does exactly fit the mold of the symbol of BJJ, the way Sneako and others described. Due to its selling point being that as a smaller, less athletic man you will be able to defend from larger opponents, it does begin to only attract a certain type of crowd. It sells itself to people looking to defend first, not attack, and also to people who aren't natural athletes or physical specimens. Another prominent special MMA journalist has also described this in a similar way.
When it comes to martial arts, the big three: jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and striking. The least athletic always veer towards jiu-jitsu. Always. Absolutely always. If you have higher testosterone, you're more likely to go towards wrestling or striking. I did this before when I was doing Muay Thai. You just knew that the jiu-jitsu class was next. You didn't have to ask what class it was. Anyone know about that? If anyone's ever trained where multiple different styles were going on at different time slots, you'd go in at like 7, Muay Thai for an hour till 8, and on the way out you'd be like, well, jiu-jitsu must be on, because it's just a bunch of nerds in the lobby.
Now, that wouldn't be an issue if the BJJ guys were still dominating the sport. However, that hasn't been the case for a long time. In our Sambo videos, we cover why Sambo is advantageous over BJJ and MMA. You can check out it clicking this card here. Sambo professionals frequently lament the fact that BJJ teaches its students that it's okay to be on the bottom and search for submissions, when in a real life or MMA situation, that position can be the reason you get finished.
Jiu-jitsu guys have same problem. They cannot stay in the top. They all go down. This is big problem for them.
Due to its philosophy being so heavy on defense, BJJ practitioners aren't even able to engage their opponents from an offensive position, as their takedowns frequently get stuffed, so they just pull guard and begin butt scooping. This produced some hilarious moments, like when Ilya Topuria punished Ryan Hall for this strategy.
Straight up assassin, right? And nice hammer fist by Topuria. There it is. Big shot. Oh,
And this favorite was beaten badly in his fight. Recently, Aljamain Sterling and Mirzaev got frustrated when they had to face this type of opponent in a grappling exhibition. They got tired of the butt scooping and started showing how ridiculous it is.
I didn't even know how they score that. Another man can't drag his ass cheeks on the mat and think that's a win, doing absolutely nothing.
BJJ practitioners are also notorious for somehow managing to become worse strikers than people who start learning striking without any martial arts background. It's as if BJJ somehow sets you up to be even worse in striking than you would be if you didn't know any martial art. Kron Gracie spends entire days running at the beach, doing breath work, spending $200 on diet-specific food a day, training martial arts 2 times a day, and somehow looks worse striking in every new outing. Just look at this. We've had judokas, sambo artists, and wrestlers pick up striking much quicker and faster. No, they do not turn into glory kickboxers overnight, but they seem to generate lots of power and are able to execute basic strikes with relatively sound fluidity. Some of them even become full-time strikers and begin only using their grappling for defense. That's because these martial arts actually have an offensive strategy, focus on athleticism and physicality, and a domination mindset. Ironically, BJJ is losing its effectiveness precisely due to its philosophy. Breeding a mindset of defense first, and attracting stoners, nerds, and hipsters whose main goal is to stick it up to the bully is precisely why BJJ is currently getting bullied. All of the killers and natural predators are turned away by BJJ's message and go to other sports. And then, with many schools figuring out defense to most BJJ subs, the jiu-jitsu practitioners aren't able to get their submission off while the wrestler, striker, is caving their face in. With that being said, the reason Sneako is getting the backlash he is because he's simply not the right person for this type of a statement. Sneako finds a new idol every 3 business months and tries to mold himself into that person and adopts a whole new identity. Back when he was on YouTube and was being himself, he couldn't be bothered to attend a martial art class or even discuss MMA or UFC. He picked up martial arts due to his idol worship of Andrew Tate, and I am 100% sure he specifically picked boxing due to this.
If you want to learn to fight, be a boxer. This is coming from a kickboxer. I'm a kickboxer, and even I know that as amazing as my kicks are, they're pretty much useless in most cases of the street.
This is the problem with Sneako's take. Unlike Khabib or Islam, he didn't reach his critique of BJJ through practice and competition. He reached it through parroting Andrew Tate.
What about wrestling or BJJ? Newsflash, BJJ is useless outside of the cage. The number one rule of the street is do not go to the ground. You don't know if your opponent has a weapon, like a knife. You don't know if he has a friend who's gonna come along and kick you in the face. You don't know if police are gonna turn up. You don't know if a whole big corner, all of his friends are gonna be running around the corner. You need to be on your feet at all times, ready to run to preserve your life. Rolling around on the floor with some guy is not a good idea.
He would have been taken more seriously if his boxing progression was going at a rate similar to the Paul brothers. Sneako isn't progressing that fast at all, and he somehow looks worse striking than the BJJ practitioners I mentioned earlier. I mean, just look at this travesty. If Jake Paul was to comment negatively about BJJ when speaking about Dylan Danis, then his comments wouldn't have been received the same way Sneako's was, because he actually is a boxer at this point. To Sneako's credit, he did say that Mikey would most likely beat him. This makes Mikey look even worse, as in order to defend Jiu-Jitsu's honor, he's threatening someone as pathetic at fighting as Sneako is. Unfortunately for Sneako, he has destroyed his reputation to the point that he will never be taken seriously. Admitting to, let's just say, sharing the woman in his relationship, clearly mimicking other grown men, and constantly losing online spats will do that to you. As for my position on BJJ, I fully agree. It attracts Star Wars nerd.
I've been in Bucatini phase right now, so I'm Darth Bucatini right now, no longer Darth Rigatoni. Lame.
Who are hell-bent on looking feeble, but actually being dangerous. Except that they're only dangerous to untrained people. And fortunately, as of late, other martial artists are learning how to cancel out those awkward BJJ rolls and just stomp their face in, or beat them up while they're in full guard on their back. The sport started taking itself seriously way too much and forgot that its main purpose was to effectively defend yourself. Belt system can be another reason for its downfall, as it simply does not mix with commercialization in the West. There isn't strict control, and you get McDojos, where belts are almost sold or given based on time spent and not performance and skill. Because of this, it seems like BJJ will be going the way Karate and Taekwondo went, unless it finds some sort of grittiness and begins implementing offensive techniques as well as aggression and desire to dominate and hurt. Please subscribe to the channel so that we can hit the 1,000 subscriber mark.